Hey there, this is Ben Guzman from United Citizens for America. This is highlighting the quantitative easing that is going on all around the world, and there's some really important things and mind-blowing things actually in this article in the next video that I'm about to show you here. But this article right here is from the Huffington Post. It was in October 30th, 2017, and it's April 4th, 2018 right now, so this wasn't that long ago. Thomas Mellinen wrote this article. He's the CEO of GNS Economics and adjunct professor of economics. So he goes into a little bit about the let's see. Both of them were tied to Japan after her asset and real estate bubbles in the early 1990s. So we're talking about Japan and the economic steps that they took to recover their economy from that collapse. So let's see here. After the crisis, Japan decided to save everyone, which by everyone they mean all the corporations and whoever was failing, real estate and everything like that. Ailing banks and companies were kept in operation with aggressive measures by the government and the Bank of Japan. The government gave subsidies to firms so that they could maintain employment, and banks were allowed to hold non-performing loans in their balance sheet without any pressure to restrict the borrower's business. The Bank of Japan provided cheap credit for the ailing firms, which depressed job creation and production growth. Bank of Japan also purchased long-term government bonds and started the first ever QE, quantitative easing, in 2001, also basically known as money printing. None of these policies were able to recover the economy of Japan from its malaise. The evidence actually suggests that these exceptional measures made the situation in Japan worse. Zombie economies do not end well. The major central banks have and are repeating the same mistakes of the Bank of Japan on a massive scale. So here we're talking about the rest of the central banks all around the world. Okay, everyone is doing this what Japan did, and it's causing a major problem. Zero and below zero interest rates have created a situation where easy credit is keeping more and more unprofitably firms alive, including the unicorns, and that's what we're talking about, zombie companies. QE is rising the prices of the high-risk and junk bonds to such levels where the expected profits of these firms are becoming irrelevant. This will misallocate financial capital in an unimaginable scale. Central banks have thus created a situation in which a large number of firms will fail in the next recession. The large number of zombie businesses can also create a recession, not if, but when the interest rate rises, leading to insolvencies and bankruptcies. So they bought up all these companies and they're just letting them operate and fail while they're operating. And they need to they need to get these businesses performing better. If the recession turns out to be a major one, which looks more and more likely, we will have a zombie apocalypse implying a global flood of business bankruptcies. Even in the mildest imaginable recession, the zombie businesses created by the central banks will surely worsen the economic bailout. In his recent column, the renowned economic journalist Martin Wolf goes on the defense for central bankers. He claims they did their jobs, while the banks and the governments did not. But as explained above, advocating the central bankers and their unorthodox measures means disregarding historical findings as well as structural macroeconomics. In the long run, we're all dead, but I like to live my life among the living. We want to live good, right? So here's another interesting video that's related along to what happens when QE ends, but this guy, the Money GPS, he really slams it right here with some solid truth, so I just wanted to get this out there.
This is George Carlin. I'm sure you've seen this before, an amazing quote from him. It's never going to get any better. Be happy with what you've got because the owners of this country don't want that. The real owners of America, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions, got you by the balls. What they don't want is a population of well-educated people capable of critical thinking. That that is exactly what I'm talking about here. The people, the critical thinkers, those on the Money GPS, those on the Money GPS insiders as well, are those individuals who realize, look, something else is going on here. Now, we may disagree here and there on little things, but we realize that there's a group above these governments that are controlling everything, manipulating them. All the puppets in government and the bankers and so on and so forth, they exist above our governments, controlling them, and we know the truth. And that is not what they like, I assure you. And this connects into something that I've looked into before, and I've brought it up into other videos, but I want to bring it up in this video specifically. This is out of Bloomberg. HSBC was accused of failing to monitor, that's quite funny actually, failing to monitor more than $670 billion in wire transfers and more than $9.4 billion in purchases of U.S. currency from HSBC Mexico, allowing for money laundering. They got in big trouble for this, and of course this is just the tip of the iceberg, but you're looking at billions upon billions of dollars being traded through HSBC. They say that they were failing to monitor, but of course we know that's not the case, and allowing this money to be laundered for drugs. The American banks are being used to launder in the drug money. I'll directly connect it to this right here, again out of Bloomberg, talking about Wells Fargo and Wachovia. Wachovia admitted it didn't do enough to spot the illicit funds in handling $378 billion. And this allowed, once again, drugs to be traded, and the money was obviously dirty money. So what they're saying here is that, they didn't do a good job of monitoring, so on and so forth. The drugs are being controlled and grown and protected right now. The opium in Afghanistan, they showed this on Fox News. Geraldo Rivera was there saying, it's such a shame that you guys have to do this. And then they said, well, you know what, that's what they do. But we're helping them growing some other crops too. Don't worry about it. They're there protecting them, and then the drugs get shipped into our countries. This is not how things are supposed to be. They control this system. They control the laws. They allow everything to happen. Now, of course, they get sued, but it's not even a fraction of the amount of money that's going through here. So it's just a slap on the wrist for them. Look at what's happening. These economies are all weighing on what the central bankers are going to say. Everything that they do, everything that they say is going to make a difference in the market. But real economic fundamentals, how many people are in poverty, how many people are on food stamps, all the other real things are not a factor anymore. This is a completely fraudulent system. Read some of these articles on CNBC. Watch the Bloomberg channel, and you'll see how fake everything is. They talk about all these little insignificant factors, and meanwhile, what does that mean to you?
So there it is. The main question is, what are we going to do about it? Let's figure it out.